In this video, I'm going to show you how to secure your WordPress site by showing you a couple of ways to secure your wp-config.php file. One way we're going to do that is by moving it from where it is to where the bad guys can't find it. Now, since there are arguments on both sides of the fence that doing this will secure your site or doing this will not secure your site, I'm also going to show you another way to secure your config file by adding some code to your .htaccess file. So let's go ahead and get started, but before we do, I want to give you a little public service announcement. First, before you do any playing around with code or messing with moving files, you want to make sure that you have a current full backup. That's a backup of both your files and your database. So before you do anything, get your full backup done. Secondly, the moving of the wp-config.php file will not work at all. Matter of fact, it will break your site if your WordPress site is installed on a subdomain or if it's a multi-site setup. So that's another reason why I want to show you another way of securing your config file by adding code to your .htaccess file, just in case your WordPress site is installed on a subdirectory or is a multi-site setup. Because again, if it is a subdirectory or it's a multi-site setup, do not do the moving of the config file. That will not only not work, it will break your site. Okay, that said, let's get to work. I'm going to be doing this within my cPanel control panel. You can do pretty much the same thing if you are using something like FileZilla or an FTP client. But for me, it's just a lot easier to do it within File Manager of my cPanel control panel. So I've already logged into cPanel, click on File Manager, and here is the wp-config.php file. Now we're not talking about the one that has -sample in it. That's basically just trash right now. We could just delete that and not have to worry about it, but we'll leave it alone for now. The one we're going to be moving is right here, wp-config.php. Now first off, I want to demonstrate that the site is working. Click on my blog. Okay, hello world. It's a brand new installation, so there's nothing on there. What do we got here? Yep, okay, so everything's working just fine. So we come on back to File Manager, and let's just select our wp-config.php file. And right now, it is located in the root directory. It's located inside of the public_HTML folder. You hit the drop down there. You can see that it is right in here along with these guys here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it outside of or up a level from the root directory. I'm going to put it in the same directory as the public_HTML. I just left click, hold, and drag it on up there. And you can see it's gone from here. Just go ahead and reload this. Yep, it's definitely gone. And if I click on this to show you all the contents of this, you can see the public_HTML right here. If I scroll down, you'll see the config file right here. So we have successfully moved it. Come on back to the site, and let's just click on that, and click on that. Yep, we're still working just fine. Okay, so that's how you can move the config file and it be working just fine. Now let's come on back here and bring it back. Select it, left click, hold, and drag it over to the public_HTML directory or folder. And there it is. Okay, so we're back in business now. Now the other way is by adding some code to your .htaccess file. Now if yours is a brand new installation of WordPress, you might not have this just yet. In which case, one way to do it is to come on up here and click on Create File and name it, put a period there, htaccess, click on Create New File. That's one way to do it. But I've already got one made, so I'm going to select it and then right click and click on Edit. And you want to come on up here to the very top, and this is where you want to enter this code. Now this code I'm going to be including along with this video as a separate copy and paste file. There's not a whole lot to it, but just in case you don't want to pause the video and take a chance on getting anything wrong here, I got you covered. Basically you've got this, what is that, a less than bracket, files space wp-config.php, greater than bracket, next line order space allow, comma, deny, next line deny space from space all, next line you got the less than, /files greater than, basically just to close out this argument. And that's it. Come on over here, click on Save, click on Close, and now nobody has access to that wp-config file except for you and anybody else that has access to your server. And that's it. We have now added an additional layer of security to our WordPress site by securing the wp-config.php file a couple of different ways. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. This video is going to show you how to secure your WordPress site by making it even harder for the hackers to break into your site. So if your administrative login username is admin, then you're giving the hackers half of their job whenever they try to break into your site. Also, more sophisticated hackers might find a way in if you are using the #1 user slot on your database. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. So we're going to plug both of these potential security holes, and this will discourage most hackers, and they'll just simply move on to someone else's site that isn't as safe as yours. Here's how we do that. Go ahead and log into your admin area, which I've already done in this tab. Come on down to Users and click on Create New User or Add New. And right now, you're logged in as administrator. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Matter of fact, if we click on this link here, open it in a new tab, I'll show you all the users that we've got on our site so far, just the one, but it has the role of administrator and the username is admin. And if we come on over to our cPanel control panel, scroll on down until we get to PHP My Admin, and this is the one here that I'm looking for. Under users, you can see right here under ID, #1. That's the other hole that we need to plug. And here's how we're going to do that. If we come on back here to our add new user, we're going to create a new administrator account for us, and we're going to delete the other one. And this new administrator account is not only going to not have admin as the username, it's also not going to be on the #1 slot. It'll be on the next slot, which in this case is #2. And we get on down here to role, hit the drop down, click on administrator, and we want to click on show password. Go ahead and copy that. And I've got a plain text document here that I'm keeping on my desktop to keep tabs on all my login stuff. Actually, I've got a couple of password managers, LastPass and RoboForm, that does all this stuff for me. But for the sake of this video, we're going to stick with the plain text document. So let's paste that password in here. Username is Stan with a capital S. And get this guy out of the way. And click on Add New User. That was the RoboForm thing I was talking about. Okay, so now then we cannot delete this admin account because we're currently logged in as that. So what we need to do now is log out and then log back in with our new account. And now come on back to users, all users. And now we're logged in as Stan, so we can delete the admin. As you see, as we hover over this, we have the delete option, whereas if we hover over this one, we don't. That's just a safety measure, I guess. But go ahead and click on delete, delete all content. Actually, let's go ahead and keep the sample stuff and associate it to the new user. Click on confirm deletion and bye-bye admin. Now if we come on back over here to our database and then come on back to users, you can see that we are now in the #2 slot for users, and we no longer have the user login as admin. So those potential security holes are now plugged. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. You can have all the security features in place for your WordPress site, but if they are all on an infected server in your web hosting account, then your site can still get infected. Now, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer here because this is the worst case scenario and may never happen, but you should plan for the worst and hope for the best. Now, with this in mind, it's best to plan on moving your sites to a VPS, that stands for Virtual Private Server, or a dedicated server as soon as your budget allows for it, as soon as you can afford it. Now, as far as starting out and using a shared hosting plan, like most of us do that are on a budget, there's a couple of questions that you should ask the hosting company before you purchase an account from them. Number one, how often do you run malware scans on your servers? Not individual accounts, but on the servers that those accounts reside. And number 2, do you do backups of your account? And if so, how often? And is it free? And if not, how much is this extra going to cost me? Now, there are plenty of other questions to ask in general, just like, say, how many domains can I have on my account? How many email accounts can I have? What's the bandwidth limitations, and so on. But most of these are actually spelled out on the hosting company's websites. So if you're wanting to save a ton of time and research, then you can contact a guy named Jim at tvcnet.com. Let me just show you here. That's tvcnet.com, and then it'll just redirect you to this site here. And you can use the phone number if you've got questions, and they've got a complete list here of all the different types of services that they offer, and the prices are very reasonable. The main kicker here is you've got the daily malware scan, and they also provide the backups. So definitely include tvcnet.com in your list of researching websites for your future hosting account. Now, once you've got your hosting setup taken care of and everything's all safe and secure, if you want to find out now what Google thinks of your site as far as it being infected or not, then here is a URL for you to check into. Let me just bring this over here. And you can just replace this www.example.com with your URL, like, for example, this right here, and I'll show you an example of what it's going to look like. I think that'll work. I don't think I need the www in front of mine. Let me just copy this and paste this in the address bar here. And this is the results of what you should get if your page is clean. What is the current listing status for your domain? And it'll tell you here if your site is listed as suspicious or not, and hopefully it's not suspicious, and so on. And there's a host of other goodies over at the Webmaster Tools that you can rely on to keep your site safe, secure, and indexed too. But that's a story for a different video. Now, if you already have a hosting company and do not want to move, then you might want to consider some type of site monitoring service. And you can set one up like what I'm about to show you, and it's free. Or there are free services and there are paid services that'll monitor your website on a constant basis. Now, both paid and free have their pros and cons, and you can do a search for website monitoring service and come up with a little over 150 million results. So there's no shortages of options to choose from here. But let's go ahead and look at a way that you can do this for free, and it's going to take less than 5 minutes to set up. And this is called Google Alerts for Malware. So what you want to first figure out is a list of all the keywords that you want Google to alert you about if they happen to pop up on your site. For example, if your WordPress site has nothing to do whatsoever with pharmaceuticals, and you want to be alerted the first time that something ends up on your site having to do with Cialis or Viagra or porn or any other type of keyword that you know you didn't have anything to do with putting on your site, and it shows up there. If you want to be alerted to that, here's how you do it. Let me go ahead and pull in my handy dandy little timer here, set it 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and start this off. Now we want to head over to Google Alerts, and I believe it's google.com alerts /alerts. I believe. Yes, it is. And here's the search query that we want to put in there. You want to put in site:/yourdomain.com or whatever your domain is. And then you want to put in a space and then the keywords that you want to search for. Let me just show you that on this text document here. Right here. This is what you want to put in. Site:/yourdomain. Replace this with your actual domain if it's .info, .com, .org, whatever. Space, then the keyword you want to search for, and then a space, then the word or, space, another keyword. So for example, Cialis, space, or, space, Viagra, space, or, space, whatever else you want to put in there that you want to be alerted about. And then once you do that, let's get this out of the way here, then you want to result type. I'd say everything. And you can always come back and adjust this later if you're just getting too much information. Hopefully you won't get any information. That's the goal here. How often? I'd say at least once a day. And because remember, this is free, so why not? How many? Only the best results? I'd say all results. And then your email address that you want the alerts to be sent to. Then click on Create Alert, and you're good to go. Now, if you have several alerts in here, because maybe you're fluent with Google Alerts, then you can go here to Manage Your Alerts to go in and edit any alerts that you have set up, or to see if you need to make any adjustments on any of those current alerts you've got already created. And there you go. You see, you're able to do this site monitoring for free in under 5 minutes. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on site monitoring and web hosting the secure way. Thanks for watching. You have a great day.